Have you ever had a moment where the entire world seems to slow down? The background noise fades to a dull hum, and all you can focus on is a single, impossible detail? For me, it was the flick of her wrist. My wife Clara was laughing, her hand resting on the arm of the man she'd introduced as just a coworker from the new Chicago office. His name was David, and as he reached for his wine glass under the dim lights of that overpriced Italian restaurant on Rush Street, his sleeve slid back just enough. There, inked in elegant, looping cursive on the inside of his wrist, was my wife's name. Not Clara. Her full name, * Clara Ann, *, a name so specific, so intimate, it felt like a brand. The world stopped, and in that silent, screaming moment, I knew my life was a lie. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel, tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The dinner was supposed to be a celebration. Clara had just landed a huge account for her marketing firm, a deal she'd been working on for months. She'd been flying back and forth to Chicago, pulling late nights, and I'd been nothing but supportive. I was the loyal husband, the rock, making sure dinner was hot when she stumbled home exhausted. Running the household, believing in her dream, she insisted I meet David, the work husband, who'd been her right hand on the project. "You'll love him, Mike," she'd chirped, squeezing my hand in the Uber. "He's a bit intense, but brilliant." Intense wasn't the word. Smug was more like it. He had the polished, predatory look of a man who took what he wanted. And he was looking at my wife like she was the last glass of water in a desert. The way he'd introduced himself, his handshake was firm, but his eyes were dismissive. He was sizing me up and finding me lacking. Then came the tattoo. My mind reeled. * Clara Ann. * I was the only one who called her that. It was our private joke, a term of endearment from our first date. Seeing it on his skin felt like a physical violation, a theft of something sacred. I said nothing. I smiled, nodded, and pretended to listen to their shop talk, the easy back and forth of two people who shared more than just an office. I watched Clara, really watched her, for the first time in a long time. The way her eyes sparkled a little brighter when he spoke. The almost imperceptible lean of her body toward his. The casual, familiar way he brushed a stray hair from her shoulder. It was a dance I wasn't a part of. Humiliation washed over me, hot and suffocating. I felt like a fool in a suit I couldn't afford, a prop in their private play. The drive home was quiet. Clara was buzzing high on the success and the wine. She talked about the project, about David's brilliant strategy, about the bonus she was getting. I just stared out the window at the blurred lights of the city, the knot in my stomach tightening with every word. That night, the strange behavior I'd been subconsciously dismissing for months suddenly clicked into focus. The late-night texts she claimed were from her boss. The way she'd started guarding her phone like it was a state secret, the screen angled away from me. The credit card bill with a charge for a hotel bar at the Peninsula Hotel her company didn't. Have a corporate account with which she'd explained away as a client meeting that ran late. She'd become colder, more distant. Our conversations were transactional, about bills and schedules. The easy affection we once shared had evaporated, replaced by a brittle politeness. When I'd try to get close, she'd plead exhaustion or stress. She was building a wall, brick by brick, and I was only now realizing I was on the outside. The discovery was a slow, agonizing poison. I started with the phone records. Our family plan made it easy. It's dozens of calls and hundreds of texts to a number. I didn't recognize David's number. They weren't just during work hours. They were at 11 p.m., 2 a.m. on weekends. I found a receipt for flowers not for me, not for her mother, sent to an address in Lincoln Park. An address I later found belonged to him. The worst was a photo buried deep in her cloud backup, one she must have forgotten to delete. It was them. In a hotel room, tangled in white sheets, a bottle of champagne on the nightstand. Clara was looking at him with a raw, unguarded adoration I hadn't seen in years. It broke me. The man who prided himself on being steady, on being the rock, crumbled. I sat on the floor of my home office at 3 a.m., the glow of the monitor illuminating the tears streaming down my face, a silent scream trapped in my chest. The betrayal was absolute. It wasn't just a physical affair. It was an entire second life she had built, a life where I was an inconvenient footnote. They felt untouchable. They were celebrating their success, a success built on my support, while I was the collateral damage. That night, something inside me shifted. The grief curdled into a cold, hard resolve. They had humiliated me. They had taken my loyalty and shattered it. I wouldn't just leave. I would dismantle their world, piece by piece, just as they had dismantled mine. The strategic part of my brain, the part I used in my own career as a logistics manager, took over. Revenge wouldn't be a screaming match. It would be a quiet, calculated demolition. I started gathering proof. I downloaded every text, every photo. I hired a private investigator who documented their meetings at a boutique hotel in the West Loop, complete with time-stamped photos of them kissing in the lobby. I learned that David was married too. His wife was a prominent pediatrician in the city. Perfect. I found out Clara had used our joint savings account to fund some of their trips, masking them as business expenses. I printed every statement. She had also been telling her colleagues that our marriage was on the rocks, that I was emotionally distant, painting me as the villain to preemptively justify her actions. I was building a fortress of evidence, each document a stone in the wall of her eventual ruin. The trap was set. Clara's big promotion was being announced at the company's annual awards gala at the Drake Hotel. Everyone would be there: the CEO, her colleagues, her entire professional world. 2 days before the event, I filed for divorce. My lawyer, a shark I'd hired specifically for his ruthlessness, served her the papers at her office. The petition included a detailed, itemized list of my evidence of her infidelity and misuse of marital funds. Simultaneously, a package was delivered via courier to David's wife. It contained a single, glossy 8x10 photo of David and Clara kissing outside their hotel, and a note with my lawyer's contact information. The final piece was for the gala itself. I knew the company projected a slideshow of the award winners' personal lives, family photos, vacation shots. I had a friend in the IT department. I gave him a single photo, the one of Clara and David in the hotel bed, champagne on the nightstand. I told him it was a last-minute addition from Clara's proud husband. The night of the gala, I was at home tracking the fallout. The first call was from Clara, screaming, hysterical. She'd been escorted out of her office, her access revoked pending an internal investigation into expense fraud. The second was a text from a friend at the gala. The slideshow had gone up. The photo had flashed on the massive screen for a full 10 seconds before someone frantically cut the feed. The silence in the grand ballroom, he said, was absolute. The public exposure was complete. She wasn't just an adulterer. She was a thief and a liar, exposed in front of the very people she'd worked so hard to impress. Her career was over, her reputation destroyed. David's wife filed for divorce the next day, and his own company suspended him. They were both ruined, their smug, untouchable world collapsing in on them in a matter of hours. I never saw Clara again. Our lawyers handled everything. I got the house, the majority of our assets, and my dignity back. Sometimes late at night I think about that dinner, think about the look on her face, so full of pride and deception. I don't feel anger anymore, or even sadness, just a profound, chilling emptiness. They thought they were building a new life on the ruins of my trust, but all they did was dig their own graves. I just handed them the shovels. The end.